Right, hello everybody and welcome to the first ever video of building the Tamiya Volvo Globetrotter 420 radio controlled truck. And I must just say to begin with, I've never actually built one of these before. I've obviously had quite a bit of experience with radio controlled vehicles, but I haven't ever built anything like this from scratch before. So it's going to be a challenge, and I think really the way I'm going to look at this is just take it one step at a time, be really slow. And the good thing is, because there's going to be no rush, it means that I shouldn't make too many mistakes. Obviously, there's always going to be some mistakes. It's just inevitable with such a complicated build. But the reason why I say there's no rush is because if you're watching this video, it actually means I've finished the entire project, because I've made a mental note to myself to not release any videos of this series until it's finished. Because otherwise I might just do what I usually do, and start a series and then slow down, and in some cases just end them halfway through, which is a terrible thing to do. You'll know that anyway as the viewer, if you have been really into a series of mine and then it's just suddenly gone quiet and then pretty much finished. So it is very important that I do complete something which I start. So yes, if you're watching this, like I say, the good news is you're going to see a video every single week without fail, scheduled and released at the same time of the same day, most likely a Saturday or a Sunday, until the end of the project. It will just keep going through until the end of the project. So it should be a very enjoyable series. So today, first of all, what we've got to do is step number one. Now, I do have the Tamiya book just here, and it's actually very hard for me to see exactly what the camera can see. I do have my phone, which I can see the GoPro's imagery on here, but obviously if I show you the phone, it's just going to duplicate millions of times in a few seconds. But yes, I should probably turn this around just so you can see, at least so you can see something. Basically, this section here, or this section here, this is setting up the electronic side of things. So basically setting up the controller, the transmitter, the receiver, the servos, the battery pack itself, the control unit with the built-in failsafe. So I'm just going to do that really quickly, just make sure it's all calibrated and working correctly. I've already done step one, so I've kind of cheated here. I thought I'd just do the first step just so I knew what I was doing, but actually it's nothing. It really is nothing at all. You've not missed anything. All I did was install the two ball joints on the two servos. We have here the shifter servo, and we have just here the steering servo. So yeah, it's nothing at all. It really would have been a dull watch if you had seen those being done. It still took, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes just to do them, just because you have to find all the parts. For example, all the parts for here, they're on a card, I suppose you could say. I don't know what the technical term is for one of these. A part thing? No, that doesn't sound very good. But anyway, yes, this is a part tree? Part tree? I don't know. This is where you get them all from. Obviously not all the parts for the truck are on here, they're everywhere, but that is one of the ones for the servos. So I'll just put my phone away. I might have to get it out every now and then just so I can see exactly what the camera is looking at, but yeah, let's just get this done. So it's actually very simple. I have already read the instruction manual. It's probably a bad idea putting it away, actually. I probably should still have it out, but I'm fairly confident I know exactly how to put this together. So first of all, we've got the control unit here. I don't know technical terms for stuff, so yeah, that pretty much gives it away that I am a beginner. The one thing I noticed actually was the pins are not aligned, so what I had to do before was actually loosen the screws on the back just to get it into the receiver, which was a bit annoying, but it is possible to do, although I might have to do that again. I shouldn't have unplugged it really, thinking about it. Oh no, progress, we've done it. That's good, and it hasn't bent any pins. Fantastic. Now, for this test, it doesn't actually matter which receiver, which servo, sorry, I put into the channel 1 of the receiver. So I just simply put in one of them into channel 1, and the other goes into channel 3, which is an extra channel. There we go. Right, so with that done, I can now move them away and concentrate on plugging these in. The battery pack, by the way, is just over here. I should have shown you it. There we go. I plugged that in momentarily. Plug the battery pack in. Sorry, the motor. Plug the motor in. Then plug the battery pack in. I think it's in the off mode. If it's not, we'll soon find out. Okay, I think it is. We'll turn the handset on first of all, and we should get some lights appearing on the receiver and the control unit just here. Let me just make sure I can still see everything on here. Oh, my phone's been taken over by people commenting on my YouTube videos. That is very nice to see. Anyway, yes. I think I can actually get away with moving more stuff this way, but it's alright for now. Also, the microphone will still be in view. I'm actually trying to sort out a different microphone, so I know the sound quality isn't great for this video, but it will be sorted for some future videos. So, yes, just put my phone out of the way if I don't demolish everything in the process. What we're going to do, now the handset is on, we're going to make sure everything here is calibrated. If it's not working properly, what I found out is that the motor will rev up, it will spin up to maximum RPM, which is not scary, but obviously it can make you jump if you're not ready for it, and it should not happen. So yeah, if any serious hobbyists out there watching, I would love just to have any kind of tips which you've got, rather than if anybody says stuff like, you're rubbish at this, don't do it and stuff, because yeah, it's the first time I've done it, so everybody's got to start somewhere. Anyway, let's get on with it. I'm hoping when I turn this on, that will flash, and then I can press set on there. It might spin up. If it does, I'll be ready to turn it off, but I'm fairly confident. Yep, there we go, that's all good. So you can see forwards on the motor, reverse, I think reverse just takes seconds to go in. There we go, it's reverse. And then we should have steering. Yep. And the shifter. Turns out I did actually plug them in the correct way as well. That's the gear shifter. Hopefully you can see. And the steering just here. All working good. So yeah, that is all I had to do there. Dead easy, nice and simple, which means we can move on to step number 2. So we're going to move on to part number 2. I think there's 59 parts in total. We may not even have to cut this, which is good. Now obviously we don't need all of this. Firstly, we need Q parts, which is these ones here. These are that's the skirt and the front grille, which we won't need until much later on. So I'll put that away, and we'll put it to one side. Keep everything nice and neat. So, yes, part number 2. We've got some MA screws which are required, that's these. Basically, parts A, which come in a bag, such as this one just over here. You can see it's marked part A. It's also got a part number as well, if you don't want to follow those. Everything you need for sections 1 to 7, I believe it is, come in there. There was also some other parts in there too, such as these just here, and yeah, the screws I just showed you. So it does actually suggest using side cutters, which I've actually not got with me at the moment, so I'm going to have to get them for the next video. I do have scissors obviously, which might come in handy, but we're looking for, first of all, Q6. So if I look on here, we need to look for the one marked Q6. You probably can't see on camera, but it is actually written on it. It's this one just here. So I need to cut that out of there, if I can do. Yep, seems pretty simple. There we go, if we don't lose it. So that's Q6. We also require, I'm just doing the one for the steering servo at the moment, we also require MA8, which is a screw, BC1, and C4. Now the C4s we actually have here, they must be on, let me just check, they are probably either on another parts card, or it'll be in a bag. Let me just see. Yes, we need to find the C as well then, which is just here. So I'll just jump quickly and we'll try and find them. Right, so here we go. We've got the C and the D parts in here. Again, I would assume that the steering servo is going to require the same parts as the shifter servo. They'll only be slightly different. That's the C. Good. These are the Ds. So once again, we'll put them away to one side. So what we're looking for, really I should have a photocopy of the back page, because obviously I need to flick across quite a bit. Anyway, we have this part, which is the Q part. We also need to find C4. 2 C4s. If I can just locate them on here. We've got 2, yeah, that's them just there. That's very simple. It's probably easy to just snap them off actually. Trying to keep everything in shot still, in vision. Good. So I'm now going to build this, and then we can progress onto hopefully part number 3. So I'm going to do the steering servo, and then we'll do the shift servo. The shift servo is going to require some slightly different parts, for example Q7, Q2. It doesn't really mean much to you if you haven't got these in front of you, but basically these parts are on here. For example, Q7 is this piece, and Q2 is this piece just here, this fairly large piece. So, well, actually that's interesting. It's not that, it's this piece here. Yeah, good job I noticed, otherwise I'd be cutting out the big piece. Anyway, yes, I'll get this done. Right, okay, there we go. So this is, I probably should have explained, the servo stay. So the servo obviously has to be held in place to the chassis or wherever it's going to be mounted to. So I've created that piece now, and we can now put it to one side. I'll now progress, and we can do the same for the other one as well. This is the shift servo. Again, it's a stay. It's a stay for it, so it is designed slightly differently, but very similar. And there we go, they're both done. So you can see that we now have a stay for both of them. Obviously I can never be confident I've done it properly, but it all seems to work, and we will find out when we come to fit these to the chassis. Obviously if something's obviously wrong, then I can just very simply change it. So I can just flip back into the instruction manual to the page where we were and just see exactly what went wrong. But as far as I'm aware, they are done correctly. So the next thing is part number 3. We're progressing quite well. Only 57 parts left to go. I suppose it would depend on how fast we get number 3 done as to how fast the entire project is going to be. But there really is no rush. In for you, there'll be 1 episode per week without fail anyway, so it really doesn't matter how long it takes. I think things like the gearbox, which is actually coming up fairly soon, that is going to be just mostly done as a time-lapse, because it's going to be one of those jobs where it has to be total concentration, and I won't be able to keep trying to narrate over it as well. So yes, the Crossmember. Number 3, the Crossmember. This is going to require D parts. I've just had the D parts, so I know exactly where they are. They're just here. Now, for this we need part number D2, D3, and we're going to need some C parts as well. So let's locate these ones. D2, they're probably actually, yeah, they're probably, yeah, they're the same. One is left, one is right. Yep, I need to get some side cutters. Some of these parts are really stiff. These being no exception. It is possible just to twist them. In fact, it does seem to be easier. There we go. Right. D2, D3, good. Perfect. Any more D parts? It doesn't look like there is actually. The other part is actually a C19 and a C20. So again, we're going to have to go back. This is the thing, you've got to keep going between the parts, but it really doesn't matter. It's all part of the fun. If they put it all together in the same package, then there'd be no skill required. You just go and pick them all up. C19. Well, this is the C parts. These are the C parts. So let's just see. 19 and 20. There they are. They are together. These ones may have to be cut. There we go. And once again, we can put those out of the way. I think actually, the thing I found the hardest so far is actually making sure I use the correct screws. You can't go too badly wrong, but there are a lot of different types of screw, different lengths, different colours, different types. So we've got some self-tapping ones here. We've got flange tapping ones as well. Then there's the standard screw, the screws with the washers. So yeah, you can go wrong. You've got to keep an eye on just here. The white coloured ones, they're the silver ones, and obviously the shaded in ones, they are the grey black colour. So yeah, let's just make sure I don't go wrong here. We need the BC1 screws for this. Now they are in a package back here. Here they are. Again, it's not just all BC1s. It might look like a bag of screws all the same, but there's a few varieties in here, a few different types. I think they're tapping screws though. It does tell you on here. Yeah, they are. Tapping screws. So I think if I just lay things out roughly, that would be the best approach. Right. So that there, that is C19. And this one here is C20. And then obviously we just align these as they should be, and then it should all fit together. So hopefully you can see that. What I've just had to do is put these press nuts in. The way you get them in there is you basically just put the screw with the washer on through the hole, tighten it up, and it pulls it in. And then it can't remove again because it sort of digs into the plastic and grips. So let's just hope they do stay in there. Anyway, now that is done, well, I think that is actually that is number 3 done, because it actually just says to use the screw to put the press nuts in. It has a diagram here on how to do it, and then nothing else is mentioned. So that piece is there, this piece is here with its press nuts in. So the next section, unless I've missed something, which I don't think I have done, is the suspension stay, and this is going to start to include the frame, the chassis. So it's going to be a slightly longer section to do. In fact, number 3 was much easier than I was expecting, but it's all going to change. When we get to the gearbox, it will change. In fact, this is going to use most of the parts I got from packet A, I think it was. Yes, just over here. Most of the parts from here are going to be used. And finally, we're going to actually start the suspension stay, which is number 4. I'm hoping to start and finish it, but it just depends how much of a job it is. It doesn't look too difficult, so hopefully we can just get it done. Now just here we have the, what do they actually call it? The frame. I suppose that is a very logical name for it. So I probably would have called it the chassis, but then I suppose it isn't the chassis until it's actually put together. So it does say specifically to remove all the vinyl, so we'll do that straight away. I think probably if it didn't say that, I would have kept it on until the end, but then that's when you realise if you put the screws through, you can't take it off properly, so it's always worth doing it now. Right, off it comes. They're actually surprisingly light. I suppose it is very thin. It's about like 1mm steel, mild steel. Oh, this bit doesn't want to come off properly. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We have the 2 frames, which obviously are going to be bolted together. I think this is part of it actually, the piece we did a minute ago. So, yes, I think it is also mostly the A parts in the A bag, just here. So if we can get all these probably tipped out, I should think, yeah, we're going to use all of them. We certainly use these 2 pieces. So if I just line them out roughly how they should be. So those pieces go over here. And then we have, which pieces would it be? I think they might be plastic pieces actually, most likely on here. Yes, so we need C5. I think what I might do actually is not remove everything as I see it. I think we'll just go, take them off here as we go. C5 is this one here. Oh, we actually have 2 C5s, so that's alright, we can take them both off. And yeah, that should be good. There we go. I was about to say, I'm desperate to get my side cutters, but they don't seem too bad, these smaller pieces. And then we have these very interesting looking things. And then these pieces, again, I think, yeah, they're all part of it. As for L2, I don't know where L2 would be. L2. Right, okay. If we just put all these things to one side, we know we need them, so they can all stay here. Unless, of course, these are L2 just here, but I don't... No, I don't think they are. No. They must be something else. Something else which we'll come on to in a second. So if I go back to the back of the book, we should be able to find L2. L2. L. There we go. So it is actually another parts card, would it be? I don't know. I still don't know what to call them. Part. I'm guessing it is a part tree or a part card. I'm not too sure. You can see just here. Should probably turn the book around so you can actually see it. This is the L parts here. So yes, L2 is these 2 pieces, identical pieces at the bottom. So I'll go and find that. Here's the bag for it. Now it was slightly confusing because I was actually looking for the black parts as usual, but then it actually turned out to be these cream or white parts. So yeah, that threw me. Anyway, what I was looking for was the one with the steering wheel on. We don't actually need the steering wheel yet, but we are going to have to use that as a reference to find the other parts. So here they are. And then I think that is everything required to build part number 4. And I hope it is, because I do want to get it done. Maybe with the exception of the correct screws, but then I think I have most of the screws here anyway. Yep, so if we can look for the BC screws, which is fairly easy to find, I think that's these just here. Yep, they're the BCs. And the MAs, which I think we already have anyway. So I'm just gonna continue here. Yeah, these are the MAs as far as I'm aware in this bag. So let's try and build something. Let's try and get this frame at least started. Right, there we go. So I think that is number 4 completed. As far as I'm aware, I haven't missed anything off, although obviously there could always be something which you look at in a second and you discover that there is something missed. But yeah, looking at it again, I just can't see anything. I think everything is there. I seem to have covered every aspect of this diagram. So basically, to put it simply, what we have here is, well, not a lot really. It's just simply the suspension stay. So we've got a few pieces of metal on here. It doesn't look perfectly straight, but it's all mounted straight, so I don't know. And the difference is the right frame has this piece of plastic underneath it. I don't actually know what it is, but it does have this piece of plastic. It looks like some kind of guide. I don't know if you can see it. But yes, this piece here. This one isn't supposed to have one of those, so it goes without. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I know it isn't the most impressive ending. I mean, this is where we've got to in this, 30-something minute video, but we've made progress. And actually, it's a good place to stop anyway, because next time, I think we're actually going to properly start to assemble the chassis. So it should actually start to look like something, yes. I probably shouldn't show you it, as it's supposed to be a surprise, but number 5 there, and how well you can see, is, well, it's certainly got a shape to it. It's all going to start to come together fairly quickly. But then it will all slow down when we get to, well, actually it's a while off, the gearbox. This number 20 to 22. No, sorry, 20 to 25. That's the gearbox, and it will slow down because it's going to be requiring a lot of concentration and brain power. I'll have to go and try and find some. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the very first episode in this series, and until next time, this time next week, see you again soon. Bye for now.